You keep walking for a while through this brightly lit field until you come to pretty much a straight border where the light changes into shadow. And as you step through this border, the warmth that the light gave you leaves you almost immediately, like stepping out of a tavern in the midst of winter. The air here smells moldy and wet, and in front of you, in the shadow, rises a gigantic monolith. In front of the monolith are a few cobblestone buildings. In front of those, a wall, and right in front of you, a shantytown. You remember the distinct feeling in Godstone stepping into the downs from the commons, and how different the place felt in just the people being miserable. And you get the same feeling here. The shacks around you are cobbled together out of mismatching wood. Mold and fungi are just growing on it in droves. Occasionally even you see someone breaking off some of the mushrooms and cramming them into their mouth. The street in front of you leads all the way up through the shantytown towards the cobblestone wall that is several feet high, surrounding the small town at the foot of the monolith. Around you, there's a couple of huddled figures around stone-ringed fireplaces. Their torn cloaks, hugged tight, gathered around the fire. Well, it's not much, but this is Monolith. It's mostly a worker town. Not a lot of people here except the outcasts of the outcasts and workers, I suppose. So these are the rejects from the downs. So the reject from the rejects. Do not expect much in terms of honor here.
Where's the governor? You said that's the one we're looking for.
A pretty big mansion all the way up at the monolith. I think he built right next to it, leaning on it. I don't know. Never actually been inside there. Yeah, maybe he's doing the thing that everyone tries to do when they arrive here. Try to dig inside.
Becker, what time is it? Sort of?
Well, for you, it's really hard to tell. Looking back, you still see the golden field glowing brightly. So it's definitely not the time it was yesterday when the sun came down. But it's hard for you to gauge whether it's noon or already afternoon.
Fair.
Could ask Draco, he knows.
Or Melody, she knows.
But we don't know they know.
But how do they know, though?
And do I really want to talk to them right now?
I'm innocent.
Yes. I am also innocent.
I'm just gonna step in. I'm just gonna look back at Ara and be like, what are we waiting for then? We already lost enough time, I think.
We're not in a rush.
Are we not? I'm sorry, did our entire plan not just go out the window and that mine got collapsed? We're supposed to be the vanguard, we were supposed to be at the front, and now we're behind.
Rune's not wrong. We are kind of on a schedule.
Frankly,
Oh,
and
please. Let's go.
Need to
Well,
find a way
keep some of
to
your coin
negotiate.
loose. Sometimes the guards at the gate not so friendly.
shocking. Yeah, Bruno, step forward then. Continue onwards.
Yeah, you walk along the road through the shanty town. People eyeing your group very curiously, but none speaks a word, just wallowing in their misery. As you get closer to that stone wall, however, you hear raised voices. And as you come closer to the gate at the end of the road, you notice that a relatively large crowd has gathered around the gates. And from the shouting and pushing, you can tell that either way they want through. At the top of the wall is a guard who seems to be trying his best to appease them. You can't just come in until the matter is dealt with. It's dangerous, for crying out loud.
I'd like to approach the guard.
No, the government. Please just get back to your homes. The market isn't open anyway.
Sir, is there a problem?
Well, tell the people to just return to their homes. Say the upper city's closed until the matter's dealt with. There's an emergency.
What's the emergency? We might be able to help.
Well, who are you?
Mercenaries.
You're all just. Are you all also just trying to get in because it's closed?
We have business with your governor, and believe me, we're capable of helping you.
He looks at you for a moment. Draco, you're still wearing your fine clothes, right? You're not wearing your armor. Then his gaze falls on Delarian. You there? You're a soldier, right? Alavan?
Yes.
He's talking at you.
What did he say?
You there? You're a soldier, right?
No, I'm a man of faith.
Oh, for crying out!
I point at Frank. He's a soldier.
He certainly is.
Well, he.
How do you want us to make them disperse? Just tell them to go? Like...
He looks at Frank and his massive figure clad in just iron, and you're a soldier, right? You're a warrior. Hold on, just wait there. He rushes off of the wall, and a few moments after the people around you just stare at Frank and the rest of you with questioning gazes. The gate opens, and immediately 6 guards step out the gate, their weapons raised. They shout at the mob, "Back, all of you!" And slowly, with their weapons raised towards them, the guards break up the mob further away from the gate. And the guard that yelled at you from atop the gate now scrambles towards Frank down the muddy incline. Listen, I don't really care who you're with. You gotta come with me. The governess needs to see you.
Why?
Well, that's an emergency, and we didn't think anyone was coming. It's been 2 days, and it's chaos around here, especially with the governor and stuff. Just follow.
What happened?
And he's already like clambering back up the incline, waving at you to follow.
I'll follow him.
Yep, follow.
The excited guard leads you quickly through the streets, and at least these are not just mud and are somewhat paved with stone. The houses around here are also nicer. they still don't compare to whatever you saw in Godstone in the slightest. It looks like they're cobbled away from previous ruins and just random rocks that they found. The narrow street that he leads you along grows wider, and suddenly you reach barricades. Most of them look ramshackle, half broken. Some of them are just barrels stacked on top of each other. And to either side of the street sit guards. And although many of them look at you as you pass, their eyes are empty and their faces expressionless and tired. Until he comes to stop at a tavern. Here. She's in here. At this point, Red steps forward and asks, "Well, why aren't we at the governor's mansion? What's been happening?" Please, she's just inside. She'll tell you everything." And he opens the door for you to enter.
We're not going.
I'll do
Here we
it.
go. Batman.
Oh yes, the wet man.
What we
Are we-
close
This
I heard
is
it did.
fairly.
Are
this
we about
is
to
fairly
do combat?
suspicious.
Because
No, I accidentally deleted something. Hold
can
up.
we take like 1 minute so I can run to the bathroom real fast? Like,
All right.
we have to. Okay, thank you. Be back in a moment.
Something smells fishy here.
You don't say.
And I don't think it's the barbarian this time.
Well, that was a little mean.
Sure, the room smells very nice.
Oh yeah, I forgot. I talked to the expert here. So you think we can trust that rune person?
She's pretty determined to get the job done.
That's what she has in common with
I'm
us.
back. Here.
Wait, why is the governess's mention a tavern?
It's not.
Oh, it's almost like no one's listening to me.
What was that?
I'm listening.
It's the tavern.
What was that, Becca?
Well, your guide questions why you're not at the mansion.
Oh, I thought. Okay, I misunderstood.
I'm guessing you enter as the guard opens the door.
Yes.
In front of you, you see a massive giant made out of rusty. I'm kidding. Oh. You enter through the door of the tavern, and two people that were clearly talking immediately stop and look at you. And the woman speaks first. What? Who are you?
A soldier, apparently.
I'll nudge Kelsa.
Like,
We're here to help you with your problem, but we heard that you have a bit of a problem.
A soldier
Funny.
for who?
I don't know. I was called in here as a soldier.
But who are you with? Who do you serve?
Godstone.
Just the entire city?
We're on a special sort of quest. It's one that there's a ceasefire for. You know how it is. I'm sure you've heard of it. For people who could help you.
Ceasefire? What? We haven't had news from up there in a while. Regardless, we have other problems to deal with.
What are your problems now?
The biggest problem is that
She
the door looks like a butt
What?
in a jeans. Look, there's the belt, and these are the two jeans pockets. It's like a
Okay.
butt in a jeans.
Alavan, you take 1d6 psychic damage. You are preoccupied by the door that looks like a bun.
Yeah, fair. I don't have a d6, that's terrible.
It's fine. Well,
My psyche is damaged.
technically, we're with Aramis. The mission takes precedent, but we're trying to secure a passage down. Where's the governor?
We were
Well-
told the governor would be here.
Actually, we were told the governess would be here.
I suppose there's that. The governor's dead,
Shocking.
Max.
and I suppose I'm next in line.
You suppose.
Well, Miss Daughter, there's no real precedent set for this. I suppose there's no one else.
Fair.
I'm not hearing your
Alright.
problem.
She
Condolences
stares
then
at.
for your loss.
She chuckles for a moment. She stares at her companion, who only now seems to remember that he's just been staring at you. Yes, well, we do need all the help we can get. But first we need, before we can tell you anything, we need to make sure that no word of this gets out. Oh, for fuck's sake, Jake. Vermilla, your father built this town out of shit, and now he's dead, and our dead are literally out there clawing at our wall. The old guard takes a long breath. 2 days ago, we were plagued by a sudden heavy rainfall out of nowhere, followed by a supposed attack 2 hours before daybreak. We discovered the governor's mansion just gone, destroyed. He vaguely gestures towards the door. It's just past the barricades. Governor Yerman built his estate at the Monolith space wall, and as you'll see when we get there, whatever tore through the mansion broke through the wall. Something we've never achieved while we were here. Not with mining equipment, not with anything. The rain stopped soon after, about an hour after daybreak. But since then, you can clearly see him struggle to keep a thorough line of thought. Well, since then we've been fighting things pouring from the hole. At first it was just simple constructs, mud, stone, and then they were the ones that we lost in the fight, but and you see disgust in his face as he says this. But they were somehow misshapen, and well, the governor's face was among them, and at this rate we're running out of guards, and then soon citizens, and then whoever's next. Someone sent you. Yes, someone's paying you, right? I'm sure they're looking for a return on their investment.
just want to pass. What do you think?
Well,
Showing you people.
I'll give you access to the ramp. I'll give you anything you want. Just stop them.
How many are we talking exactly?
Well, it's never really clear. They attack. We kill a fair number of them. They drag them back. They retreat. And then they come in bigger numbers every time.
If you had
Every
to
time we
guess-
lose someone, he returns on the other side.
If you had to guess between the tens and the hundreds, how many would you guess that there were?
I'd estimate roughly 20, maybe more at this point.
Are they
And
armed?
we don't know what's inside. They return inside and then they come back out in greater numbers.
Are they armed or armored?
Not particularly. They fight with a ferociousness that bullets don't really stop them anymore. Every time they come back, they seem a little harder to kill.
Do normal weapons seem to damage them or be able to kill them?
No, they are flesh and blood like you and me, maybe even more so.
So is that a yes?
Yes.
How long has this been going on again? You said 2 weeks? Was it? Days? I
No.
forget.
2 days
2 days.
since we lost the governor. The rain stopped 3 hours after it started. We don't know anything else.
Is
We're
there
chipping
anything,
away at our supplies, but we can't hold out very long for this.
is there anything odd or magical or anything that you can think that might be contributing to this that we should be aware of?
Other than our dead soldiers coming back to life as stitched together pieces,
Are your soldiers the only dead among them, or are there others?
it's hard to tell. They're not exactly the same anymore. Probably whoever was in the mansion when it fell. The governor, governor's guards.
How long would...
Stitched together?
Excuse me?
Did you say stitched together?
Yes.
Like a golem?
Yes.
I turned to my left.
How long between these waves? Between when they fall and are dragged back in and when they come back out?
At the beginning they attacked every 2 hours. It's slowed recently. We're now up to intervals of 3 hours. Hardly enough to rest, but we take shifts as much as we can.
Have you
Have you tried?
retrieved the corpse of the governor?
No. There's a larger construct with them. Whenever one of theirs falls, whenever one of ours falls, if they can get to the body, I'll drag it back with them when they retreat.
Have you tried burning them when they fall?
We don't have the time.
How many mages you got here?
None?
Explain what?
We don't have the luxury of Godstone. Nor any nobleman for that matter.
Describe this larger construct.
Looks like it's hewn of scrap metal. It hasn't actually joined in the attack, so it's nothing I can tell you.
Is it like gigantic? Looks like it sort of like an armored figure but made of just any metal that might have been around it.
It's probably a head bigger than that guy, he says, pointing at Frank.
No, it's just not that thing again.
We've not managed to bring it down at all. Arrows just bounce off.
Has it or any of your dead spoken at all, or especially in any languages that you know they did not speak originally, or any sort of sign that they may have been changed other
No.
than the physical?
I think it would fully break our morale if those dead comrades spoke too. Luckily that hasn't happened yet.
And dismemberment does nothing.
Well, it works, but they come back stitched back together every time.
And I assume you haven't tried sealing it up, if only because you haven't had time.
It's a giant hole. We don't have the stone or the building equipment. It would probably take us a day.
And I'm guessing you haven't sent anyone inside, because it would be probably a suicide mission.
We've not been able to push forward. We've just been holding the line. Holding out. I guess for reinforcements or something.
Right, well, I'm down to help.
I think we're the reinforcements now.
Seems like it.
As long as you keep your end of the deal at the end of it.
As long as we're all still alive by the end of it. He shoots another glance at the woman sitting at the table, who just gives him a nod. And he walks outside.
So what's the plan and what's the thoughts?
That metal
him.
guy sounds familiar.
Yeah. Kill it. Try to burn the bodies if we can. If any of you have that ability, perhaps it might stop them from coming back.
Can do a little fire.
I can do a little fire.
We're gonna need more than a little fire. It takes a lot to burn a body.
I
Especially if
suppose
it's
I...
wet.
Or
Don't think it's raining anymore, but...
No,
there.
but the last things we fought with that giant beast were made of water, so...
Oh, that's
Yeah,
true.
but these appear to be physical bodies, not just water creatures.
Yeah. And unfortunately, I've just been told pistols do nothing.
I'm sure you'll figure something out. You're a creative kid.
Oh god.
Right.
Maybe you just need a bigger one.
Would that I could. We haven't had much time to sort of set up a tinker shop.
You sounded like you knew something about them golems or constructs.
I once tried to make a, like a, big metal thing. It didn't work.
So you know
But I
about
did
them?
do just a bit of research on golems. And I wasn't allowed to know anything more than there were ones made of flesh. Which is disgusting.
Flesh
Okay.
is not my expertise, but I know a thing or two about golems.
Magic, like if you destroy the person who made them, do they fall apart? Like, know anything like that?
Not usually. You
They
can
have
dispel them
a-
though,
Generally they have a core.
but the ones we fought didn't. That big metal locomotor swords.
I think it's different though. This one sounds smaller.
Yeah.
So there's maybe 20 more. I think our plan is just whack through and try to kill the bigger thing. Hope to God that stops it. If not, we go in deeper.
Yeah.
What if we fought undead with undead?
Explain.
Give me a couple buddies and I'm gonna make them fight for us.
Can you turn something that's already been dead? I'm really trying hard to ignore the implications of that. Can you turn something that's already been dead? Because if a
Do they
couple
need
of
to
them
be fresh bodies?
They don't have to be fresh, no.
Do you have bodies that aren't fresh on you?
It would even help if it were just
that
some
would be a bit
bones.
weird.
Just some bones would let me make a skeleton, for example.
Maybe they have a graveyard.
Just any kind of bone. Can we just get like 50 femurs?
It has to be
thought-
humanoid.
Femurs are humanoid.
But like, it's probably a whole skeleton, right?
It's just a skeleton made of only...
I could make skeletons, and if it has flesh I can make zombies.
Sounds like slavery with extra steps.
Step 1, they're dead.
Kill them!
Just make sure Alpha's
It's a nice trick.
We'll see if we can find any, and if not, we'll improvise.
I mean, I cannot do too many at once, but I
Oh.
I cannot like command the whole army yet. I still have a lot to learn, but
Maybe they have a prison here if there aren't any other bodies laying around.
I would prefer to not kill people for this. Just use something that has no use otherwise.
So there are maybe 20 or more, and that they come every few hours. I think our plan should be figure out when the last wave came, prepare as best we can, and give it our best shot. Our goal should be destroying, obviously, the constructs, but probably the other bodies as well, because especially if we can like burn them or wholly destroy them. I mean, assuming it can't reconstitute ash, but then again, I don't know anything about this, so try to destroy them as best we can.
I could probably set up some traps if anyone wants to help with that. That'd be.
That's a good idea.
I think we're going up to meet them. I don't think they're coming up to meet us.
I mean, if there's a wave that's coming out of somewhere, we can lay some traps.
Yeah,
If we could do a couple of pit traps, we could make sure they don't get the bodies back.
that's true. Well, let's go find out more then.
So
Let's
long.
see if we
Yeah.
can-
Did the governor's daughter say when the next wave is gonna be, or when she thinks the next wave is gonna be?
Mm-mm.
If not, I'm gonna
No.
walk over there.
The captain stepped outside
hmm
when you were finished talking.
Well, let's go outside to ask him.
And I'm gonna ask the governor's daughter.
I'll have Anne go first.
She looks up at you as you approach the table.
So,
Anything else?
what are the intervals between the different waves?
Like your captain said, it's up to 3 hours now.
And when was the last one?
I'm not exactly sure. They'll ring a bell 20 minutes before. Usually we can see them come out the hole. But it's been maybe an hour, so just be ready.
Okay. Also, have you been able to retrieve any kind of body, or did they take every single one?
So far, when they've retreated, we'd been battered further behind in the line. We're now at the bridge, which we can hold, but we've lost a fair amount of ground, so no. We've not been able to.
Is the bridge the only thing that connects to...
Well, no.
to the whole
It's 2 bridges, and the drain isn't really that deep, but it makes for a good defense.
Okay, so but they could get through there, the
Eventually.
creatures. Okay,
Yeah.
so no option to just boom the bridges.
No.
I see. So there are 2 bridges. Are they next to each other or on opposite sides of the whatever there is? Is there a square or something in front of it?
Can take a look out of it. Look at it just outside. It's not far. It's just down by the barricades.
Okay. Thank you then. I think that's all for now.
Well, if he's talking to the governess, he's just gonna go outside and talk to the guard captain dude.
Yeah. You see him outside, smoking.
Sir,
Hmm?
when was the last attack?
He turns around to look at a candle. Probably 2 hours ago, which means we have 40 minutes. A bell will ring and everyone will be called to stations.
Is there any way we could get there sooner? My friend might have a way to set up some traps that could possibly make getting the bodies back harder.
Yeah, it's just down the street.
This
And
may
he
be a...
walks off.
No, I'm gonna stop him. Let's call out once. This may be a bit of an insensitive question, but do you have any bodies about?
Do we have any bodies about?
Yep.
We've got a few able-bodied men around, yeah.
I'm talking about the dead kind.
No.
None. Down the graveyard somewhere, not even bones.
Crux of... Great, what?
Look, I don't know.
Well.
My friend had a bit of an idea where he can... I say my friend, I don't even fucking know him. A guy with me can supposedly use bones or bodies as allies. I'm not quite sure. It's worth asking. I mean, any port in a storm, right?
So yeah, how is necromancy seen in this world, Becca?
Yeah.
Well, his face is
Rune gives no fucks.
very obviously filled with just disgust.
Like I said, an insensitive question, but do you really have any better options?
I'd rather die, sword in hand, than plunder a graveyard. Grave robbing. You want to destroy whatever's left of our soldiers' morale?
I mean, I'd settle for having alive soldiers than dead happy ones for sure.
If I were in war and the fucking skeletons would fight for me, I would be pumped up as shit.
No, just saying, it's your men, it's your tribe. However you choose to keep your pride rather than their lives is your decision.
Well, I appreciate your help. But I have no more talk of grave robbing. Or desecrating our bones.
Their deaths are on you then.
Morally
And
brave.
we're gonna go back inside.
What's this?
Looking in kind of miffed.
Isn't that
Point of
inspiration?
inspiration.
It's an ancient key.
Do I have inspiration?
You have 1 point of inspiration.
Yeah, you got that at some point.
Wow.
Wait, when did I get this?
Last session.
No?
Or did you get it this session?
Gave it to him this session.
Oh, for the
I didn't even notice.
for killing the goblin. Of trying to kill the goblin.
Oh, I didn't
Rune's
even
gonna-
notice.
Rune's gonna step in and look at the layer and be like, Well, I don't think you're getting your bodies, but that means that the deaths are on them.
I mean, if we stop them from taking the bodies, we're gonna have some, I guess.
I think that that's not gonna be very, smiled upon here. Apparently. And, like, Rune changes their voice to, like, perfectly match the old guard's voice. He goes, I'd rather die than desecrate my graves and ruin my soldiers' morale, even though it might kill them. Meh.
Well, I'm not used
mean-
being smiled upon anyway. I don't care.
It has some pretty hefty moral conflicts.
Rune just...
Who, you?
No, raising people from a graveyard.
Well, their spirits have reached the pantheon a long time ago. The bodies are
So-
just husks remaining in this world, left to decay.
So, would you rather have your morals or your friends? Sometimes you don't get both.
You could be dead and have your friends if you're both raised to be zombies.
How can you have any friends without morals?
And we should have killed the goblin and raised him as a zombie.
Shit.
No!
Go back. You gotta go back.
Rune just looks at Frank skeptically. Yes,
I wonder if
because
we can get any supplies from them.
you might want to ask instead. Oh, no, I guess I could turn my face to look like someone else. They might not recognize me. I don't really know how to do that. Yeah, we can go ask.
Is he still outside?
He's walking down the road, but it wouldn't take us long to catch up. Let me just, and Bruno just, like, do a quick, like, turn, and when he turns back, they look like a young woman with choppy, short, dark hair, and they're, like, fairly short, but still sort of muscular, and, Rune's outfit shifts to look more like, just like a regular sort of adventurer's outfit.
Alright, but he was in this room with all of us, and he did not see you, I'm assuming.
Say I was walking around outside getting the lay of the land or whatever. I was in a back room, I had to pee, you'll come up with something.
Oh, alright. I'm not really talking. I will leave and try to catch up to the boy.
To
Yeah,
the boy.
same. I'll go
To the
with,
boy!
Melody, and Rune's voice also like changes to be like that higher, more feminine voice. So yeah.
Do we still guess who they are? Do we still know it's Rune or...
Yes,
Okay.
their eyes did not change color, and obviously you just saw that it was.
Okay, I wasn't sure
Where'd
if you
you come
just
from?
walked around the corner and did it there or something.
Nah, you just did a little spin in the room, and when they like turned back around, they looked different. It was really dramatic.
Okay,
Excuse me,
Draco?
sir.
Draco, do you want to come with us because of the traps?
Right, yeah.
Okay.
And he like collects some papers, and you can see there's a few trap designs.
Telsa, you're usually one with funny ideas too. Come with us and maybe you can figure out something.
That's just a nice way of saying I have nothing to add.
I didn't say that. You are a
You can help me
rogue.
think of some traps.
You know your stuff.
That's true.
I've seen... I do you remember the tavern brawl we were in? And you put the floor completely with these little balls? And everyone was just slipping and falling, and whenever
That
they
was
tried
fun.
to... Yeah, so... You have ideas. So I wasn't making fun of you, you know? Sometimes you are just the one thinking out of the box.
That one doesn't work on mud though.
Yeah, that was just an example, you know, Draco?